Mohammed, what is particularly striking about the timing of this attack is that it takes place just as the country's new president, Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, is about to celebrate 100 days in office after coming into power in May. What do you make of this timing?
Thank you very much, Lindy, for having me in your studio today. A very good evening to the viewers who have tuned in today. I think it's a quid pro quo situation on who blinks first. Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, who is the president of Somalia, was very clear from the onset when he took over the administration that his top agenda would be to address the perennial issue of Al-Shabaab causing instability in his country. The same was a statement that was made by Al-Shabaab that it will continue its onslaught towards the established government in Somalia. And we've seen this since the formation years of Al-Shabaab, since 2007, where the Al-Shabaab has led an offensive towards the then defunct transitional federal government of Somalia to the current transitional national government of Somalia. Al-Shabaab is of the view that it needs to establish a very strict and adherent Sharia form of government, and it's against any establishment in Somalia that is seen to be, the custodian of the global war of terrorism that is led by the United States of America.
I mean, it is interesting that you describe this as a who blinks first scenario. What we understand, of course, is that the president is saying his government will continue to take the offensive to the militants. But will this actually end what's been described as a forever war in Somalia?
So did the Prime Minister. I was listening to his statement yesterday, Hamza Ali Barre, who was appointed in June 2022, 2 months ago. And I think this forever war needs to be looked as an issue of also a political problem in Somalia. And by saying this is that silent responses to terrorism alone will not be sufficient. Somalia has this deeply political problem that Al-Shabaab is entangled with for the last 3 decades. To address this forever war, there are some interventions that should be of utmost priority to the administration of Hassan Sheikh Mohamud. And one of the key is dismantling channels of financing for Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab makes around 180 million US dollars per annum, and it has an expense of around 21 million US dollars, making it one of, if not the richest terrorist group, probably, in Africa, definitely, and probably one among the many in the world. Take an example of the Dusit 2 attack here in Kenya that took place. The entire operation costed them around what, 45 to 50,000 US dollars to conduct it. Secondly, is that the access of firepower of the Al-Shabaab, it's something that really to be reckoned upon. Al-Shabaab has the capability of attacking its immediate neighbor, that is Kenya, over its 700-kilometer border area. And third, really, Al-Shabaab is a regional problem. There is a need to dismantle the regional cells that operate not only in Somalia, but outside Somalia, particularly in Kenya, in Uganda probably, and even Tanzania, as we have noticed. And last, that is not really mentioned much, is that we need to combat some of these terrorism problems also under the lenses of transnational organized crime, because outfits like Al-Shabaab or the Allied Democratic Forces operating in the Eastern DRC are not only terrorist groups, but they're also transnational organized criminal groups.